Hello students, welcome back to another math lesson, and today we are still busy with Unit 2 applications. So applications are just different ways and different techniques that we can use to answer our questions. So firstly today I want to look at our homework and quickly go through that with you so that or for those that do not understand, maybe get some more understanding and also learn how to do them. So the most important thing when we are converting decimals into a percentage is always multiply by 100. Very important. We always have to multiply by 100 when we convert decimal to percentage. If we convert decimal to fraction before we convert to a percentage, then we always have to put our number over 100. 25 over 100. For example, it's not for this one. It will just be 25% will be 25 over 100. Okay. So, but here we're only going to convert our decimals into percentage. So, how do we do that? We take out 0.25 and we multiply by 100. Okay. So, what is the rule when multiplying with 100 or with a 10 or with 1,000? We have to move the decimal point. So if we multiply, the number or the decimal point moves to the right. Okay, so you move it once, twice, and our new decimal point will be here. So once we do that, we can write our answer and say equals 25 per cent. 25%, or we can also just use the symbol of percent. So this is the percent symbol. You can also use this one if you do not want to write the name. You can just draw the symbol. Okay, so that would be the first one. Number two, I'll just give the answer is 7%. For those that did it, it is 7%. The reason why I'll only give the answer is I don't have space to work here. So 0.3, if you want to calculate 0.3 as a percent, we multiply by 100. Wait, let me move this a little bit further. So we multiply by 100. So then what do? We first have to move the decimal point. 1. So we add a 0 and the decimal point to get our answer. Remember to add the 0. If we skip it, if we skip one extra, we have to add the 0. If there was a 1 or a 2 or a 3 already here, we don't have to do anything. We just have to then use that in our final answer. So then our answer will be 30%. 30%. 0.3 equals 30%. So we'll do exactly the same for 0.7. 0.7 multiply 100 equals. So we take our marker and we move 2 decimal places. 1, 2. Our new decimal point will be here. So then our final answer will be 70%. Okay. If any of you do not understand and you would like me to explain more, you can always just send me a link. Send me a message in the line group, and then I can look at that for you. Okay. I can try and explain. Oh, where did my thing go now? Okay, let me just write the answers again quickly. It disappeared. This one was 25%, 7%, sorry. This one was 7%. Okay. Over here we had 30%. Over here we had 70%. Okay, so let's quickly do the last two here. So here we have 0.98 multiplied by 100. So first we have to move the decimal point. 1, 2. Decimal point moves to the end. Now we don't have to rewrite the decimal point, but we can just write 98%. Okay. And the last one, 0.9. Multiply 100. Remember, first we have to move the decimal point 1, 2. Add the 0 and then the decimal point. This will equal 90%. Okay. So the other one, I quickly want to explain to you a different one. Like number 2 is also a little bit different. So let's look at that. I'll use green. So let's say we want to look at 0.05. What would the percentage be? So we will take 0.05 multiply by 100, just as we would for anyone else. And then again, we have to move the decimal point. Decimal point moves past the 0, past the 5. So we don't write 0.5, we just write the 5 as a percentage. Okay. Very good. So I hope all of you got that correct. If you did, good job. Excellent, excellent. If you made some mistakes, maybe you learn from them now and in the future will not make the same mistake. So let's look at number 2 at the bottom here and see how we can answer these questions. So over here, we have to match the top with the bottom. And how do we do that? We have to convert it into the same, either a decimal, either a percentage, so that we can, from there on, match them together. So we'll start with the first one over here, 3.5, and I will show you this one on the whiteboard. So 3.5 multiply by 100. So if you multiply by 100, always move 1, 2 decimal. Put a 0. So now you can see our answer moves up to 350%. Is it possible to have a percent higher than 100? Yes, it is very possible. If your number is below 1, so let's say 0.99 or 0.95, 0.42, your percentage will always be below 100. But once you have a number to the left-hand side of the decimal point, if a number is on the left, you will always have a percentage above 100. So that's always important to keep in mind when we are doing these questions. So we can almost immediately see if we made a mistake or not, just by looking at these two things. So going back to our questions, 3.5, like we said, equals 350%. And we have a 350% over here. So then we match them together. For 0.8, we can calculate 0.8, multiply 100, equals 80%. So go and find 0.8, find 80%. We have 80% over here, and we match them together. The next one is 0.1 multiply 100 equals 10%. So go and find 10%. It's the first one on the left-hand side here, and we match them together. The next one we have is 0.95, and 0.95 will give me 95%. So then we go over here and we find the 95% and we match them together. Okay, so we only have one left. It is 0.08, and we already did 0.08, and we said it was 8%. So here we can see the last one is 8% and 0.08, and they also match perfectly. So this was the homework. I just quickly wanted to also go through the homework with you, because we are not currently in live classes, but on video. So you can mark your homework and maybe also learn something if you make a mistake. So now we're going to move on with the next part. So now we're going to move on and look at percentages of cardinal numbers. So what does that mean? It means we have a number and we have a percentage. But we want to know what is that percentage of this number. So in our BODMAS, we will use now the of. So we have the BODMAS, we have brackets of, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. We are busy with the O of BODMAS. So how would we calculate this? Let's look at the example first to give us an idea. So they say, what is 30% of 50? So we know 30%, if we have to write the percent as a fraction, we have to write it over 100. So they do that here. 30 over 100. Always remember, when we work with fractions and percentages, we put it always over 100. So the denominator will always be 100. Multiply that by 50. Okay, so now there's two ways you can go about it. First, you can either multiply the 50 over here and the 30, which will give you 1,500, and then divide by 100, of which you take away the zeros from both numbers. Divide, take away the zeros, and your final answer will be 15. Okay, will be 15. Or you can divide this first into 0.3 multiplied by 15. So let's see here. Let's do the other one as well. We have 50 multiply 0.3. 3 times 0 is 0. 3 times 5 equals 15. How many decimal places do we have? 1. So we put the decimal place there, and our answer is also 15. So you can decide to do it either way. The answer will always be the same. But it's very important to read carefully, because we can make mistakes very easily. So let's make sure we read carefully over here. And I will do these 6 together with you. So please follow along in your books on page 62. Are you guys ready? Are you steady? Are you ready to go? Yes, yes, yes. Okay, so let's start. First, we read. What is 10%, okay, of 40? 10% of 40. Well, we know when we work with percentages, always over 100. 10 over 100 multiplied by 40 over 1. So this one will then calculate to 10 times 40 equals 400. Divide that by 100. That we can just easily eliminate the zeros on both sides. And we say our answer equals 4. Our answer is 4. That's for number 1. Number 2, we're going to do exactly the same, but first we read. What is 50% of 400? Okay. So now we know what we have to work with. So it is 50 over 100 multiplied by 400 over 1. Okay, and this will be, we can either multiply the 50 times 400 or we can simplify the numbers. How do we simplify? We eliminate the 2 zeros here and 2 zeros here. Very simple. And then we'll have 50 times 4 equals 200. And 1 times 1 is 1. So our final answer will be 200. If we don't do the simplification, how will we calculate it? Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let me just clear this. 0, 0, and 400. So 5 times 4 equals 20. 1, 2, 3 zeros. 1, 2, 3 zeros. Divide by 100 equals eliminate 2 zeros here, eliminate 2 zeros here, and then our final answer will be 200. So you can see if we do it either way, the answer is the same. It did not change at all. Okay. So number 3. Let's do number 3 here. 75% of 60. 75% of 60. Okay. We know exactly what to do because we learn how to calculate it. So we have 75 over 100 multiply 60 over 1. So how we do that? We take our 75 multiply by 60 and put a 0 for the 6. 6 times 5 equals 30. 6 times 7 equals 48 plus 3 equals 51. So that's going to be 5,100 over 100. Divide by 100 again. Remember to bring over the 100. Sometimes we forget. Eliminate the 2 zeros on the top and the 2 at the bottom. And we are left with an answer of 51. 51. Okay. So there's 3 more. I want to do all of them so that we have enough practice. Please do them in your book as well so that we can practice together. So here they ask us, what is 90% of 30? Now, is there a difference between writing it like this and writing it like this? Is there a difference? Who knows? There is no difference. It is exactly the same. The one they just used the words and the other one they used the symbol. So there's no difference. It means exactly the same. So our answer will also look exactly the same. So here, first off, we write down again 90 over 100 multiplied by 30 over 1. Now, if you multiply 30 times 90, it's going to give us 1,800. Divide by 100. Always remember to divide. Remove our 2 zeros on either side. Remember, if you remove 1 on top, you have to remove 1 at the bottom. If you remove 1 here, 1 here, you cannot skip it. So you have to make sure that you do it accurately. Otherwise, if you're unsure, you can use the long division method to do it. Okay. It's up to you. It's up to you. Which one is easier for you? I want you guys to use that one. Okay. So then our final answer will be 15. No, sorry, I'm making a mistake. It's not 15, it's 18. It's because I'm writing so ugly that I can't even read. 18. Our final answer will be 18. Okay. Second last one, number 5. Let's have a look here. First, we read. Always read carefully. 45% of 200. So I think that should be around 190, if my calculations. Let's see. 45 over 100. Always over 100 if it's a percentage. Times 200. Divide by 1. So how do we calculate? We go to, put 45 on top. So we have 45 times 200. Put a 0 and a 0 and a 0. It's going to give me 10, 9. 9, 0, 0, 0, 0. 4 zeros over there. Over 100. Okay, over 100 over there. So then we eliminate the 2 zeros on both sides. And we are left with an answer of 900. Is that possible? No, it cannot be possible because 45% is going to make this number smaller. So in this instance, if you go back and we calculate here, we added too many zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you make a mistake when you calculate and your whole answer is incorrect. Okay. So that's something we have to pay attention to. I make these mistakes on purpose to show you how easy it is to make a mistake. So the final answer at the end of the day is 90. 90 is the final answer. Okay. Pay close attention to what we do. So the last one, 25% of 300. 25% of 300. So here we go. It's 25 over what? 100. Yes, 25 over 100. Multiply by 300 over 1. Now for this one, I'll use the other shortcut method, is where you cross them out from the beginning. You cross them out from the beginning. So 25 times 3 is going to give me 75 as a final answer. As a final answer. Okay. So there are those 6 calculations. I hope you guys understood what we did. If you did not understand, please send me a message in the line group and I will try and explain it to you in a different way. So this is what we do with percentages of cardinal numbers. Did everyone do the work with me? I hope everyone did it with me. If not, you'll have to complete it on your own time. Okay. So the other one I wanted to look at was these 4 word problems. Just to get us started into thinking how word problems work. So word problems are sometimes the most difficult questions because we have to read a lot of information. So what is the first step to word problems? Read carefully. Make sure we read carefully. Okay. Let's first look at the example. A farmer over here, a farmer grows rice on 40% of his land. What does that mean? Answer. If the farmer has 100 rai of land, he grows rice on 40 rai. So here we have to explain the answer. Do you see the difference to our usual answers? It's very different. But important to also be able to do it this way. Now let me explain to you how it works. So it's, they say a farmer grows 40% of his land. Now what does 40% mean? 40% means 40 over 100 it means 0.4. So with this information, that 40% already has these 3 equations in it, we can write our answer. So if then we can see what they did. They took this equation of the fraction 40 over 100 and they said, okay, we have 100 rai of land. And on 40 of them, we planted rice. So that's how they looked at their answer. And I think this might be the easiest way to do it, is look at the fraction, and then we make an answer. So let's see number 1. Explain what each statement means. Number 1. Pauline spends 70% of her daily allowances on lunch. Pauline spends 70% of her daily allowances on lunch. So she spends 70 over 100. 70%. So then we can use this 100 to start our story. If Pauline gets 100 baht allowance, if Pauline gets 100 baht allowance, she spends 70 baht on food. She spends 70 baht on food. Now, I do not expect you to answer these questions perfectly from the beginning, because we'll need to practice them. They take a little bit of time to practice and to also think about how we can write the answer. Sorry, I said lunch. I said lunch. We could say food. Scratch the, it's lunch. Spend 70% of her allowance on lunch. Okay. So if Pauline gets 100 baht allowance, she spends 70 baht on lunch. Look at number 2. Tommy saves 15% of his salary. Tommy saves 15% of his salary. What do you think we are going to do? 15 as a fraction is 15 over 100 as a percent. So we take the same story over here and just change it a little bit so that it suits our answer. So we start here. If Tommy earns 100 baht in salary, he saves 15 baht of it. So if Tommy earns 100 baht in salary, he saves 15 baht of it. Okay, so that's how we can write that answer. Like I said, it might take a little bit of time for you guys to get used to how to write the answers, but with some practice, we will be able to definitely do that. Let's finish off with the last 2 for the day, and then we will complete. So a fruit seller sells 30% of the mangosteens she gets. She sells 30%. So 30% as a fraction equals 30 over 100. Again, we use the 100 because it's the easiest. We can also use a different fraction. We can use, what about 3 over 10? We can use 60 over 200. So you can play around with them. I'm just using this because it is the most easiest one. So if the fruit seller gets 100 mangosteens, she sells how many of them? 30. Excellent. She sells 30 of them. Okay. Another story. And then for our last one, let's have a look. A corn grower sells 86% of the corn he gets. So this is exactly the same as this one. It just in different numbers. So let's say if the corn grower, this is a grower, gets 100 corn, he sells 86 of them. He sells 86 of them, or we can say he sells 86. Okay. So just nice, very simple, basic stories that we have to explain what the statement means. But we can only do that if we understand what the question is asking. So we have to always read carefully. Okay. So that will be all for today for mathematics. I hope you guys learned something. And let's see if you can beat me in a rock, paper, scissors. So on the count of 3, we will play rock, paper, scissors, and you can see if you can beat me. Okay. So here we go in 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Shoot. If you had the rock, you beat the teacher, and congratulations to you. But thank you guys for joining the class. Hope you guys had some fun, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.